Okay, so
Open it and immediately get overwhelmed. The point of this video is to take those 3 years and condense it into 10 minutes that can take you from having never played before to being able to play and enjoy Football Manager. Although enjoy is a strong word, it can give you an immense amount of pain and suffering. No, no, no!
okay, so this is
No!
what I okay.
But if you don't know
Look,
exactly what Football Manager is, it's what you always wanted FIFA Career Mode to be, or should I say, EAFC. You don't actually play the games, but you control everything around the club that a real-life manager would control. It's awesome. But now, we have to prepare the timer. I have to do this in 10 minutes. I'm ready. The first thing you personality. It's not something you can see here. Next is the tactics screen. Here you're shown a bunch of different tactical styles that you can
okay, so
sets from. The ones that you're defensive and so on, depending on how good the team
dang
is you're
it.
playing against. That's all you need to get started with tactics. Just tinker with it and make adjustments as you see fit that you think will work, and you'll learn more about tactics over time. You can already start to use your brain here. If you looked at your score,
dang it, this doesn't show any videos. I think this game does exactly what I want to do. I'm trying to see, however.
Has that position and that role in the first place, where the player is being the position and what they do
I'll
in
show
that
you
position.
if I
Then
ever
there's
can find.
dynamics. Here you can see your club atmosphere, players that are having issues, or players that could potentially have issues. And
All right, who's got a game version of this? I mean, so this guy's trying to teach you the game. Okay, so this Football Manager 2024, 23, 22, and 25, which got canceled, which is coming in 26 because they just didn't have enough to do, or they had too much to do, or something, and they didn't want to rush it. So I get it. That's not really the problem here. The problem is that this game is what everybody wants their game to be.
it's not the first time I've ever played it. You're probably hoping that based off of the title, but I am going to do something unusual today. I'm just going to start a save. I recently went through and counted up the hours I've played on Football Manager in the last 10 years. It came out to just over 11,000 hours, which is troubling, concerning, deeply. Feel like I could have touched grass once or twice in the last decade.
So,
but that aside,
that said, there is no football game like this, but or at least not fully like this. There's some that try to be, okay, and mine unfortunately is not going to be there yet.
I feel like it would be a neat exercise to start my next save, just allowing you guys to see.
Dang it, I want to see some.
Actually go about the business of starting up a save in the first place, because there are certain things that are.
They don't. Okay, maybe it doesn't do it. I thought maybe it did. I wanted to see what the sim looks
But
like.
there's great mods that can help you have fun with Football Manager anyway. Come on, Rube. Yeah, Rube. Yeah. I've taken the liberty of ranking the top 10 mods that you can apply to your Football Manager save to just make it.
All right.
Before we get too far, an honorable mention to the face packs, the logo packs, the real name fixes. I spent years making every Football Manager tutorial I could think of to make sure that you could join me in my crippling Football Manager addiction. One of us. But I haven't been making as many recently, so I wanted to see how everybody else was doing. You know, if you happen to get your guides from somebody that has a slightly smaller forehead, I just wanted to see.
I don't see. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I think this game has simulation in it. Okay, all games have simulation, all the football games. But what I mean, you see the guy there. I don't care about the guy.
Getting to play the game for the very first time, which for a game as complex as this one can be pretty daunting and leave you with no idea where to begin. If that sounds like you, don't
This
worry,
game
this
is nuts.
video
Okay, so a lot of these games are nuts. They go all in on these stats. Okay, so I don't know if there is a sim. I don't know what the sim looks like. I thought maybe it actually did a sim.
This video will take you through step by step how to set up your game so it works the way you want it to and try to minimize some of that early game
So there is a game like this.
is out now on early access, which means a whole load of new players are getting to play the game for the very first time, which for a game as complex as this one can be pretty daunting.
Oh, is this the
and
one I
leave
just
you with
clicked on?
no idea where to begin. If that sounds like you, don't worry.
There's a game called The Program. It's on the Android application. So there's a lot of this stuff, which is tactics, right? You get to build up how your guys are going to attack, do their thing. And
more detail on on
I don't-
setting up a tactic when you first arrive at a club. For now, we're just trying to get that tactical shape. You can get an idea straight away of how your players might fit in.
So I guess there isn't.
by
I don't know
clicking
what
on
the Sims
suggestion
look like. I
advice.
can't
So
find
we
it.
can see that all of those best players
So at some point you
are in
play the
there
game, right?
in roles that they'll like as well. If we come back here, the first player in when we're still listed according
how
to
come they
star
don't
rating who
have-
doesn't make it in is Thomas Partey, and you could very easily three of our midfield positions. He obviously can't play in all three of them at the same time. You can actually get around that by going back to this screen, and if you've decided you're definitely going to play Declan Rice as your defensive midfielder, you can actually remove him from the squad planner in these other positions, so that you then get an overview that doesn't have Declan Rice getting in the way. So you can manually do it, so you've only got players in one position at a time. You can
So-
do it from this screen. So if we
Now, I don't have a tactic screen like this. Not yet. I mean, I don't even know what I would use it for. I mean, it's cool. But, okay, so here's the thing with Football Manager. And this is about all managers. From front office football, which is American football, which is what I'm doing, and all the others. But I wanted to look at what it is that people love about this game. Because from what I hear, what people seem to say is this is the bar that all manager games, sports manager games, should reach for. People just, Football Manager is the game, even though this is soccer. And but what I don't understand is why. I mean, what is it that makes this such a great game? Okay. Yes, it's a manager game, but so is front office football. They both do the management. I don't know if one does it not as well, one doesn't do as many things. All I know is front office football, the American football, has 1,000 tabs like this. It has a bunch of tabs, and every tab goes somewhere. And it, you know, you got your scouting, your transfers, your clubs. You're doing all this stuff. You're out there doing your thing. College football can do that too. Where you're out scouting and blah 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 blah. Pro football should have that to a point where you're also scouting to decide who you're going to draft and who you're going to do. Da, da, da. I am doing some things that are a little bit different simply because I'm going to be using real life players, sort of. And so my game has a lot of that kind of stuff, but you also have to be able to scout players and kind of get a feel for what their potential is, which of course potential is the unknown possibilities, right? It's this guy could be really good. We don't know how good or what, blah, 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 you know. Some guys have more potential than others in theory, but that's derived by the system, the game. Something's going to create these arbitrary potentials. Now, if they're real life players, even those guys, they come in as a 30-year player, a 5th-year player, a 10-year player. I have to decide, or I have to have the system come up with a potential for each of those characters. So if you've got a potential on a 10-year player, what's it going to be? Is it better? Is it worse? It's probably better, but it's not going to have the same upside. Somebody who's played for 10 years is probably going to have less upside, but he might already be good enough that he's better than a lot of guys will ever reach when their potential. And I've already got this whole experience system built and designed and structured for how, not built, I'm sorry, designed and planned for how I'm going to implement my experience structure, so that players can grow and get better and do blah, 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 and how we're going to enhance and use those abilities to give them skills, and then also be able to do things like train them and, you know, do all that kind of stuff. So I have medical staff and trainers and I don't know, those staff, I guess it's just supposed to be coaches because they separated it here. But I think a lot of that's going to be, how do I do the UI? And my game is going to be focused heavily on trying to make the actual game simulation fun to watch. And I thought maybe this game, because everybody talks about how great it is, might actually have a simulation in it. But as you can see, it does not. It does not seem to have actual
Oh,
simulations.
folks, we're reaching that time of year where both of the and the 2 years he's been with us at the club, he's made it. If we were to look at the stat we've got at Burton.
Anyway, so this game I was talking about called the
and you'll see
program.
it's set up exactly this. Been hoovered up by big clubs now, but if we were to do this process in April or May, just after we've got lots of new.
I guess
players
people
emerge.
must like this
Probably
game
do
because
some
of its
games.
depth of
It's not gonna
stats
show
and
me
all the
really
stuff
what
you can
now,
do,
but
which is very
I'll
cool.
literally do that and then
I
sort
don't
of
know that
my
I'm going to be able to
age
get all that into
and
my
set
first
scouts to
iteration.
Look at the younger ones, even in this situation, for volume because we needed a big rebuild being done at Roma, but also signing them cheap means even if you don't end up finding a space for them in your team long term, you can sell them on at a profit. Looking at Predrag Dojnovic again, there is no scenario where we don't win with this signing. He's got 5 stars of potential. He's already a full international. We spent £3.6 million on him. He either becomes a superstar for us, or we sell him on for massive money. We make a profit on him. Either way, we win, and that's going to be the case with all of these guys that we've brought in. Looking again at him, his value has immediately gone up, so either we use him or we sell him on at a profit. That guy's value has gone up massively. He's already showing 3.5 stars of current ability.
So all these characters have, it's like, why do they have to be, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe these are real people. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know if it's just Football Manager, right? So I don't know if they're real or made up. But I don't see any simulations. I guess not. I don't know what, I mean, yes, there's a simulation.
One of the first things a new manager has to do in Football Manager is deciding what tactic and style of play they're going to use, at least in those opening few matches. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the process I go through when arriving at a new club for the first. And he was offside constantly. We switched him to be a poacher, and he stopped being offside so much. And if you look at the actual descriptions of
Alright, so I don't know.
role, you can start to understand why that might
Football
happen. Advance forward,
Manager
looking to get in
2024
behind. He's trying to
simulation.
play off the shoulder of that last man. Whereas
See if they have anything that actually shows the simulation. See, like this. Is this a simulation in the game? This is not the FIFA series. I just want to see what the simulations look like. But apparently there's no simulation images. Now, this shows some images of a simulation. Is that how it looks on Football Managers? It kind of looks like that could be it, right? Tactical series. I don't know why none of these guys who are doing online views actually do any kind of sim.
Euro 2024 is 2 weeks away. So using Football Manager, I've simulated the tournament 100 times, and these are the results. Starting with the worst performing team, Albania only made it out of the group stage 21% of the time. Next moment of brilliance.
Okay, so yes. Okay, so it does. Football Manager. This is what I want. So, admittedly, this is way over my skill set, right? I mean, this is graphics beyond anything I can come up with. Although I'm creating logic that's going to move the ball and do things. Now, granted, this is soccer, so it's totally different. But where each play is calculated and planned and progressed, I would love to have it look like this. So you could watch the game and just kind of see the guys moving around and doing stuff on the field. That's the dream. This is the dream. But it's not going to happen. Not yet. Not in the first iteration. I want to have some visual graphics that have this. Now, I don't know. This is probably not going to show much.
Being the only difference between the two sides in the final. Then we have Switzerland, Turkey, Serbia and Croatia all making up to 4 finals. And from these 13 final appearances, there has been 1 winner. And that was Serbia in Simulation 62, where incredibly they beat Germany, Italy and France on their way to the final, where they beat Belgium in extra time.
So again, it does pretty good. I want my camera to follow around the guy with the ball, which makes sense. That's kind of what this is doing. And it's got a pretty good view. And things don't look terrible, right? They're small, but these are all 3D characters. running around on the field, and they look great. They're awesome. And it'd be fun to watch because you're like rooting for your guys, right? I mean, you can see what's going on. You can kind of tell their numbers on there. And I don't know how accurate those numbers are, but it shows you who they are based on their names. I want to do that. I want to put their names above and kind of give you a sense of who's this guy with the ball and the numbers on these guys and be able to update their meshes and draw that stuff on. But yeah, first things first. So I think it's cool. I think it looks good. I don't think it would look as good on, I don't think Football Manager even exists on Android. Maybe I could be wrong. Let's go see. So you'll see I do this on occasion where I discuss games that are already out there. And I do that because I'm constantly researching what it is without getting people feedback, which I hope I'll get feedback. So, hey, if you know anyone or want to give your opinion on what I'm doing and what my design is so far for 7 months of game design, which you can kind of see in previous videos, where I'm headed, how things are structured, what do you like and dislike about what I'm doing? Do you not like the fantasy aspect? Because I'm not going to have humans. Well, there'll be humans, but they won't be every single player. Do you think I should bag that for the sake of time? You know, is it more important to get the game out? Is 2D, I'm probably going to go 2D graphics simply because I think it will be easier to do. And eventually I'll probably try to switch to a 3D, but I got to learn 3D. So I think that might be part of the problem. But I wanted to see if, so they have a Football Manager 2024, Soccer Manager 2025, actually has more downloads than Top 11, Be a Soccer Manager. Notice that actually has more, 100 million downloads. Holy cow. Whatever they did, they definitely, Netflix Inc. Netflix Inc. did Football Manager 2024 mobile. Crazy. All right, so I want to see. Feel the glory of 3D soccer. Well, some of these are playing the game. Also play this game on PC with Google Play. Some of these are not management games. Top 11, Be a Soccer Manager. Well, I guess it is a manager game. All right, so let's share this quick. I've only got a short time left to finish discussing this particular topic, and I do plan to get to my other my actual work here shortly for at least a little while, but I want to share this with you and kind of see what we've got here. Now let's see here. I have to connect my phone to the right thing or this is not going to work. Now, from what I'm told, this is using Wi-Fi, which is actually kind of slow. And I'm trying to figure out, there's a way to do it with Bluetooth, but I haven't figured that out yet. So bear with me while I try to do this. Hopefully it won't take too long. There's no video for this. Problem is oh, here we go. There's a trailer. Now, if it'll actually connect. I don't know why it takes so long to reconnect my phone. There it goes. All right, let's look at this trailer. So this is phone level graphics, and what a nice simulation can do as well as being a manager game. It does, this is not Football Manager, by the way. This is Top 11, Be a Soccer Manager. I don't know, it does So they're really showing the 3D aspect of this, which is again way out of my wheelhouse right now. My wheelhouse is expanded already a ton, so I don't know how much time I've got for that. But you can see things that'll let you do stuff like set your characters, which I really like the fact that you can put characters down, build your superstar team. But you can see, I don't know, how many players are on Alexa, how many players are on a professional soccer team?
Here's something I found on the web. According to wiseajuke.com, typically, soccer is played with 11 players on each team, but some variations, such as games in youth leagues or indoor soccer leagues, use fewer players. By the way, you have a new notification.
Alexa,
Did you hear it?
no. Alexa, how many players are on a professional soccer team, not just on the field?
Here's something I found on the web. According to wiseajuke.com, typically, soccer is played with 11 players on each team, but some variations, such as games in youth leagues.
Alexa, cancel. So apparently it doesn't, I don't know, maybe are there no backup players? There has to be backup players. How about on a soccer roster? Maybe that's the problem. I have to ask the question better. Let's see, how many players are on a professional soccer team's roster? In competition rules. Generally, match day squad. Teams typically have 18 players available for a match. Full roster, most professional teams register 23 to 30 for a season, allowing for rotation, injuries, and technical flexibility. Okay, so they have a lot smaller teams. And that's probably because there's a lot less injuries, right? I mean, professional football, you have 45 guys. And they have a lot of specialized positions. You know, you got half of those are on the defense. So you got roughly 2 guys per position on each team, on offense and defense. And then you probably even have a couple guys on those squads that are playing multiple positions. So you might have one guy who backs up 3 or 4 guys. You may have 6 linebackers, but you got 4 linebackers playing all the time, but you got 2 that rotate. And maybe there's you have a couple of you have 3 defensive ends, even though you only play 2 at a time, but one might actually play linebacker sometimes. Or, you have a lot of guys overlapping. Your depth guys might have more, a variety of positions that they play. So I get it. But in the professional football, since there's so much specialized players, if certain guys get hurt, you really can't throw your receivers in to go play cornerback, 'cause a lot of them don't play cornerback. I mean, they just can't. And cornerbacks, they're cornerbacks for a reason. They don't often catch well enough to be receivers. And perhaps they don't even run routes very well. You never know what their reasoning behind why they play on defense and not on offense, but it's generally something to do with their ability to catch if they're not playing receiver, or their ability to cover, which is running backwards and tracing a guy is not the same as running a sharp route. So again, it's specialized. So you have to have more players in your team because injuries need to have more players to go. So Broncos, the professional football has that variation. So trying to come up with a good form for simulations. I'm trying to see how many players are on the field. Trying to decide what my players setup is going to look like. Now these guys have looks like pretty decent generic stands. I actually think this looks like one of those assets you can buy on Unity as far as how their stands go. It does look pretty good. But see how nice the field kind of rotates with their players.
But Jeremy Doku equalised for Belgium in the final 10 minutes.
I like the way the camera.
Serbia were able to go the distance in extra time, where 2 goals in the second period
So
of extra time
the interesting
saw
thing
the
about
Serbia lift the trophy for the very first
soccer is their field is actually a little shorter, I think, than an NFL field, but it's actually wider, so that's why it looks more square. Okay, I know I kind of went off the topic again, but ultimately this is Football Manager, and this is kind of what I want in my American football game. Decent visuals. Again, I'm talking about going 2D, not 3D. I would like to go 3D, but I don't know that I can create all the animations and modeling and all the kind of stuff I want to get the game done. So I want to have the depth. I want to have a lot of decent depth. Probably even not as much as this, because this game's been around. I don't know, what was the first version of Football Manager? let's go see. What was the first version of Football Manager? Football Manager, also known as Worldwide Soccer Manager in North America, from 2004 to 2008. So it's been around for 20 years. So they've had a lot of time to improve. Why? Oh, I don't care about the cancel. Why was one banned? I don't care. Hey, this guy played Football Manager.
In today's video, we are going to be playing the first ever football management game. Now, originally, as you can see on the screen, it was made in 1982. The first game in the series. Now, it was made by someone called Kevin Toms, not the current people that make FM and before that Championship Manager. So it says the player chooses a team, then they must try.
No, that's Football Manager. That's a Football Manager. I was thinking the first ever version of the current evolution of. This is kind of cool. Ah, are you going to make me do this? All these people and their ads. Oh, we got to be able to show you ads. Whatever, show me your ads. I'm more considering, like, what did it have in it? Now, I don't want to be as minimal as they are, but I don't know what it was. Game Football Championship Cup online slot provided net and game 11 champions online slot provider game global. The champions online slot provided pragmatic play. Subduo Star Striker football fans X-Up spins. Some of the most popular footy themed slots you can play. Footy themed. It boasted a more refined game engine and intuitive user interface compared to previous versions. Players were also treated to the following excited new features. Oh, well, what about the first version? Football Manager is the world's most released in November. There have been 20 other installments, one released every year, generally in the first week of November. Here's a closer look at the evolution. A brief history of the Football Manager video game. The original Football Manager video game started life as a Championship Manager when it was started in '92. It was published by Sega. After the fiasco that surrounded the release of the 2003 game, Sports Interactive lost the naming rights to Eidos Interactive, the original publisher, and there was a relationship breakdown. However, the company managed to keep going. Since the newly formed partnership was full, it boasted a more refined game engine. See, a 2D match engine. See, this is what I wanted to see. I want to see what their 2D match engine looks like. New updates, cup, pre-post. I want to see. Let's see. Football Manager 2005. Football Manager 2005 images. Oh wow. They didn't even have players. Their 2D guys weren't even 8-bit. They're just dots. Okay, so that might be a little more basic. All right, let's say 2008. Let's see what they do in 2008. When did they actually go to actually having people on the screen? Dots. Looks like they pretty much just had dots in 2008. Okay, so let's see. 14. Oops. Okay, 14. They put some images on the screen, but you can see at this point they were already going 3D in 14. 14, they had players all over the field. Football Manager 2014. 3D, a lot of interesting shadows. It's actually pretty cool. But that's still probably more than I could expect to get on my game. And so, I don't know. Did they just go straight from dots to 3D? They probably did. They probably just said, yeah, if we're going to do this, let's go all in. I get it. I mean, you know, if you're making enough money to bring in the, let's see what 2010 had. Oh, they had characters on the field in 2010, and it doesn't look like it was a 2D. Can't even see this. It's too small. Is it gonna get better? Sometimes it gets better after a minute. Sometimes. You just gotta watch the crap. I don't want to watch the crap. Alright, so yes, I don't see. It does look like it's 3D, but I can't see any of these images. They're all just crap. Okay, there we go. That one's a little bit better. So yeah, they were still 3D in 2010, it looks like. One of the greatest goals I've ever seen. 2013 had them. I don't know, 2008 was just dots, but somewhere between 2008 and 2010, they decided to go with 3D. So they've been doing 3D since at least 2010. So it's kind of hard to yeah, they've been doing 3D at least since 2010. I don't know if 2008 they were still doing dots, so I don't know at what point they decided to go all in on. They probably just went from dots to a 3D, because you can see even here these 2009 characters also have 3D. So they've been doing 3D for a while, and they were doing it back when apps were, you know, it was more difficult. But hey, they were probably already successful. They've been producing this thing for years and years and years, and they probably had a nice team to do this. Probably made it a lot easier to create their animations, and over time they've gotten pretty dang good. So I can't expect my game to be at that level of 3D realism for a one guy show, but if I can get my game to go and be successful enough, maybe I can add that in later. I'll be back momentarily. Oh, you know what? I'm going to sign off and actually get something else done, and then I will be back. Until next time, God bless.